Sorry, starting a new video now.
The figures it would end up being broken up into two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm assuming you guys have your marching order now that how you want it.
Is everyone comfortable with this?
Is it wide enough for two people to go in?
The opening itself is roughly about, we'll call it 13 feet. It is, we'll call it about 15 feet tall, about 10 foot, and then a half circle up at the top. There's no door to it. There's no gate. It does not look damaged in any way. It looks like it is just simply an opening into the side of the mountain.
Just for the sake of you two being who you are, do you want to do that number there so you two are at least like behind each other, or like that?
We're all in guidance casting distance of each other.
Yeah, I would definitely. Can you bop her?
Hmm?
Bop her? One of you?
I already did.
Oh,
Yeah.
Judy, I mean,
Okay.
Bob, to buy the dog.
Okay.
Do you have guidance?
Now
as well?
remember, guidance only lasts for 1 minute.
Bop.
So,
Don't everybody smack me at once.
No.
Nope.
I will take care of casting guidance on her.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't have guidance?
I don't.
paladins don't get guidance. Guidance is a
Oh
cantrip.
shit, that is right.
I have guidance.
You and I are the only two that have guidance. Holy fuck.
Correct.
1, 2, and 3, I thought.
If that's the case, I'm gonna be.
Guidance is a cleric thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
we are
so-
He has it for other reasons.
Oh, it's very suspicious, and you should be concerned. If you want to keep casting guidance on Arkin, I will cast guidance on Lethani.
It's like Rebecca,
Sure.
like the first adventure.
That
We got
way we
landslides,
can-
We got mountains. We're hiding behind
Don't you have
our-
guidance as well?
That way,
Oh,
but
all
if
time.
No, she
if
does
we
not.
encounter anything, please by all means get back.
We just, we were
Hide
making
behind
it's
the
just like our first
Yeah. Oh,
episode.
there we go.
Mountain, landslide. I'm hiding behind art.
There we go. Yeah. No. If we all hide behind R, we will be fine.
As long as the
I
final
can
doesn't
say from
bounce
experience.
back.
No, saying from experience, we'll be fine.
Well, not necessarily, because sometimes they like to come back at us.
Yeah, they do want to come back at us whenever he shoots
I
fireball.
can
Can you
dodge.
not
I
roll?
get half damage.
Try to look for the invisible wall next time. I promise you, I can totally see invisibility. It's just one of those things that I got.
I actually literally am skilled in seeing invisibility, so don't fire until I say it's safe to fire.
We'll see.
I'll see.
I would like to make it clear that I am in combat mode.
Okay, so armor on, weapon out.
Armor on, weapons out.
No poison.
Gotcha.
I don't have anything to do for that, so.
Yeah.
I'll do both.
True.
You don't have to unleash any weapons or anything.
No.
I'm just like, hey, here's this dagger if I need it.
I'm gonna bow.
Or the
I'm
sex.
gonna scout.
Okay.
I'm going to mostly be looking for traps and listening for any movement.
Okay. Go ahead and make a. Are you heading up to? You're entering into
Yeah,
the opening.
I'm going to go to the end. I'm going to just do it like in layers. So entrance first, and
Gotcha.
then we'll signal for everyone to join up, and we'll do it piggyback.
Cool. Good to know.
That's the safest bet.
How far ahead are you going to
Far enough that y'all dipshits don't make too much noise and get me killed.
Oh yeah. That's
Especially that one pulling out the sword.
First off,
He's not
different
the lion. He's
campaign.
not the
Second
lion
off,
anymore.
you're wearing heavy armor.
be? What's your stuff?
Yeah, and your rolls suck.
Fair enough.
Technically speaking,
Nope.
for right now, you still do until you're in darkness or dim light.
You were saying the sun went down, but you are
We're
correct.
going into dark.
Of course he's correct.
I'm sorry. What was I saying?
Yeah, actually, our next time.
Because last time I checked, paper's flammable.
Hey.
I love it.
I forgot we're doing dark, so I'm gonna have my rapier instead of the bow.
Gotcha. All right. Go ahead and let's roll for investigation.
Don't forget you got guidance.
It's up to you. As far as you know, there are no traps of any type.
That's why he does it.
I know he does.
The camera can't see James grinning like the fucking cat that got the canary.
Yeah, we need like the point of view thing for you. We had the dance
We're-
screen, we'll clip it to you.
Don't worry, at
When I watch
the
videos, I
very end of this,
definitely
we're gonna do
prefer
office
POV.
scenes.
I would love to do something like that at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah.
Once we
Everyone
get
gets
things
my
set
porn
in a way that we're all happy with, I would absolutely love to do something like that, like office interviews afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Ah, that would be fantastic. Because we might have to retroactively do one for last season, for last session.
For last
Because-
season.
yeah.
Last season on consequences.
That'd be awesome.
Alright, so my signal that so far all is well, and
Okay.
I guess we're all adventuring in.
Yes, right, yeah.
All right. Heading into the mountain opening. You have no problems.
That doesn't make me feel better.
You walking along the pathway, the hallway itself stays fairly uniform. Every once in a while, you come across a section of the upper curve part that a section of rock has let loose and just kind of fell down, breaking on the ground below. Overall, it looks stable, but it just looks old. Like this has been here for a long time. So without constant tending, parts of it are just not as held together as they would have been when this had been frequently walked. The hallway continues uninterrupted for a good 300 feet, checking along the way, making sure that everything is on the up and up. I assume you're moving slow enough to where you're taking your time, making sure everything's the way that it should be. After about 350 feet, you start to see that up ahead it looks like it opens up into some sort of a largish chamber. And is anybody using any light?
I am not.
Okay, so
I'm just relying.
I'm assuming you're just holding on
yeah,
to like
so
my robes.
holding on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's holding on to my robes.
I'm sitting there holding his hand like.
You're not holding my hand. I need my hands.
You want to Yoda it?
I'm basically baby Yoda. I'm just sitting there like.
You're pretty well conditioned to this type of
Treatment.
your mental state is
Yeah.
your mental training from being a monk. You're comfortable in this type of a situation. While you can't see in the dark and you haven't done anything training-wise as far as trying to see in the dark, your other perceptions aren't necessarily any more heightened or anything, but internally you're just composed. You understand there's not much you can do about this, so going along with them seems fairly second nature to you.
Just looking at the reflection of my eyes and ours over.
No, you're not.
Ours right?
There's no light.
Yeah,
to
there
see
ain't
a
no
reflection.
light for you to see shit. Like,
Oh, I was
we're 350 feet in. we
And
passed
if you turn
passed
the
dim
light
light
on,
330 feet ago.
We're gonna have an issue. I don't want light. That makes you bait.
So,
Just light on
No.
We're gonna die together.
I don't have
I
light.
hope you
Okay.
like a bear hug.
So, you see the chamber, or you see the pathway opens up into what looks like a chamber further up ahead.
Do we
Sounds
go
very
down the
fun.
middle? Or you guys want to scoot around the edge?
I think we should stick together, scoot around. Let's start with the. Is there anything else that we see inside the chamber? It just seems to be an empty one.
Does it seem to be?
You guys get close enough to where the opening leads into the chamber.
Can
Well,
I?
first, before we go through the opening, maybe let's look.
But how about you check for traps?
Yeah, let's look before we walk through.
If someone helped her with her investigation check, it gives her advantage, right?
Is this entryway similar to what the cave was? It looks.
Correct.
Okay, it doesn't look anything more modified or.
No. It doesn't look like it. I mean, it's definitely worked stone.
Mhm.
This whole entire
It's
hallway
man-made.
has been worked stone. There are no blocks. There are no lintels. There are no
No glitz, no.
right. There are no separate sections to it or anything like that. It has been chiseled from the existing mountain stone. So every now and then you might see a crack or whatever, but that is what naturally happens
Right.
just through the stone.
Right.
Occasional.
If you need help with investigation, just let me know.
Okay, so
Also guidance.
nothing that bad. So we're just going to look for traps, and I'm going to be listening ahead like before. Any signs of movement or.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check at disadvantage.
Can I help her? No, fuck with
It doesn't.
Yes, because it is darkness. Even with dark vision, it is at disadvantage.
Yeah, I know dark vision is only so far away in the gray, and
2 and a 3.
we die.
Divine sense.
You forgot your
Oh,
guidance?
that's going to.
Oh fuck! She got a 3. No.
The 2, 3, and then it's a perception.
Yeah.
11. As far as you know.
Fuck.
Yes, to the best of your ability, it sounds there's no running water, there's no blatant sounds, there's no blatant sights, you don't see anything moving. But other than that, there's just not much for you to really pick out as far as the scene goes.
Do I see anything?
1 second. You were going to say
Divine sense.
divine sense.
Why don't
You-
just step to the other side of the chamber?
It's within 60 feet. If I remember correctly,
I was already flipping to it because I knew you were gonna ask.
60 feet, elementals, undead, outsiders.
Celestial and Fey?
60 feet. Celestial fiend or undead.
Celestial Fiend or Undead.
Correct. You do not sense anything within 60 feet of you.
Is there anything that I in particular see?
Using your magic sight?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing within 30 feet of you glows in any form of magical aura. Nothing along the pathway so far has glowed with any form of magical aura.
Right. I don't like this.
It's too calm.
Yeah. Before we move in, I would like to cast mirror image.
Shoot fireball.
Does that require a somatic component?
You can wake up.
Why you ask?
Somatic
Yes, it does. No.
Verbal is verbal.
Oh, sorry.
We're gonna make sure that part's on
By the
there.
way, it says incantations.
Huh?
It does have verbal.
I believe I can take an extra second to whisper it as quietly as possible. If I may,
A spell requires a certain volume and a certain cadence, so being able to speak it quietly is not a thing unless you have subtle spell.
I'll go ahead and do it anyway.
Okay.
He is the one.
And it lasts.
1 minute.
Okay.
I think I'm not going to hang out by the end.
Okay. So
Sleeping
Are you
here or
gonna-
just
are you
tired of
gonna-
our shit?
I'm slightly asleep.
No, I'm just thinking about you.
Rolling a new character.
okay. So you're making an investigation check for traps. Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
I would like to help her with making an investigation.
that seems like a pretty good time. I have to go pee. I've had to pee for at least a good minute. So, the impact it has.
You still have a
Oh,
friend?
yeah. I thought you said you drunk your plug.
I do that too.
I thought you said you drunk your plug earlier, and so I thought you
And
meant
it
you
really bothered
accidentally
me,
drank
like-
one of your dye.
I understand, like, people want to go out and protest,
There's
but there was like so many pictures
You gotta check what is
and artists
on
drawing
them when it
us
comes
going out in the front lines protesting with our little black babies.
Oh my
But
god.
don't really like, and that was the only time that we were like seen as, oh, they're protesting in the front lines for their men, and it's just like I want to.
the one of the episodes of the uncomfortable interviews with a black man, the one that I had shown you with a manual. One of the ones that he does has the one woman who was from The Bachelorette, the Black Bachelorette. She was the very first
Barely
Black
know who that
Bachelorette.
Here you go,
I didn't know who she was. I know of the show, blah blah blah.
No, you keep on. You die
But
every
she
time.
chose
I've been hearing guesses.
a white man, and on the other side was, I can't remember what his name is, a football player, and the woman, don't quote me on who she is. I don't remember. I didn't know her name, but I can't remember exactly what she is. But they're a couple, and they're a couple. And the interview was effectively,
Why?
what kind of problems have you seen in your current relationship from both sides of it? Not only a black man with a white woman, but a black woman with a white man.
Oh, yeah, it's probably gonna be
And
easier
some
for
of
you
the
to show
stuff that they were saying was absolutely phenomenal. The way that, like,
It's actually cool.
hey, like, one of the things that they were talking about was, well, you know, as a black man, how do you see, like, what's your advice to a white woman on how to
You learn to stop.
better be with a black man? It's like to better have a better relationship with a black man. And like he burst in and he's like no, that's the wrong question. He's like it's she's doing fine. She asks questions. It's my job to make sure that I'm not making her feel like she's out of place and stuff. Like some of the stuff that they talked about talks a lot about what you were just mentioning, and in a really interesting way.
Yeah, just people don't understand. Like, I understand, like, people want to protest, but it's like, I kind of have like an anger towards that, because it's always like, it seems like we're fighting on the front lines, and I just don't sit right with me.
Well,
the way we've been
I-
treated, and people don't understand that it's not their fault that they don't.
You know, feel
know
free to
that
correct me
side.
if I'm wrong, but I think from what I see, it's less of the fact that people see it as
I don't even care.
I
don't.
you are on the front line, and more so that they see it as you're supposed to be on the
Yeah,
front line.
especially
It's your
the men.
job to be there on the front line.
Yeah, especially the men. And then they abuse us at the same time, and that's the only time they ever praise us. Every other time they're on Twitter talking about how much they hate us, they don't want any dark nappy-headed women, they want light-skinned women. I mean,
Right.
There's nothing wrong with the preference, but it's the exact same dudes making that art, posting that art, saying how strong we are, and then every time that this stuff blows over, they're on Twitter like talking crap about us.
Right.
It
It's
is-
it's the in between
just-
times where they
It
yeah.
just makes me disillusioned about all
I
that.
get it. I've talked to you about this a decent amount to where I
Finally.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
can
of
see
course,
where
like,
you're, I
of
can
course-
definitely see where you're coming
Of
from.
course, not like every black woman has had that experience, but I've definitely had that experience with my own father. Of course, like he's
But
but like
you've
how
also
he's- how
mentioned
he's
that
treated
you're-
my mother.
You've also mentioned that
over
you're
the years.
very, I'm not going to say uniquely, but you are definitely one of those people who are caught very, very, very specifically in the middle of a situation that a lot of other people aren't necessarily.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
Because there is so much on both the right and left of you
yeah.
that I can definitely understand to some extent why.
I'm kind of bitter about the way my family members and my brothers have been treated. People, some of the stuff they said about people, their own sisters look like that. It's just kind of bitter about that. The way my dad's treated my mom. I can't.
I am familiar.
I can't be gung ho about all that.
I am-
A little bit.
as much as people. think
My
that I should.
situation is definitely not yours, but I am definitely familiar with the feeling of being ashamed of your family's point of view and that whole
I'll talk to
thing.
my mother.
So,
Sorry, I'm just.
you're
That reading that name is so mad.
you're perfectly fine. It is understandable to feel that way. So, now, what is your next step? I believe you were
She was
check for traps.
Haha, lols, good luck. I stepped back because that one was doing something.
Cast mirror image.
And I guess me and Ken's going to head inside then.
Okay.
Take the lead.
Before we do that, I'll cast Shield of Faith on myself as well,
Okay.
which
You're making-
requires concentration, and it lasts 10 minutes as well.
Okay.
I should keep doing it. One of these things last.
Mirror image is 1 minute. Shield of Faith is 10.
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
If need be, I can cast Shield of Faith.
Okay.
That extends to all of us, doesn't it?
What, Shield of Faith?
Yeah.
No, one person.
Oh, no, it's only on.
Okay.
Cast it on yourself.
I'm squishy as fuck.
Whose fault is that?
The dice.
You have a 19 armor class,
I have 21.
and now you have 21. I have a 15.
You're in the back.
Yeah, so protect the guy in the back.
So,
I also have more firepower than you, so.
Don't worry about it.
heading into the chamber, the floor is very well worn. There are a number of what look to be beyond decayed spots where there might have been some sort of fabric or something, or maybe just a place where, seeing as it was a place where somebody had lived at some point, there are barely remnants of what was left behind at some point. But old, just beyond decayed, there's nothing left of whatever it was. But you do definitely see that there are, like, not scars, but like smears and smudges and just a vague discoloration in the grayness of your sight. Just kind of meandering around the chamber, you get a general sense that it's roughly about 80 feet from one side to the other. The ceiling domes up to about 50 feet total. And that gives you a basic general sense. There's not really much else here to look at.
The way the ceiling domes up, does it look more like natural stone, or does it look more like, say, an old catacomb or something?
It's getting close to the walls. When you first come in through the archway, you can kind of get a sense of how the chamber itself was formed. It looks like it might have been a natural chamber at one point, and it was widened. It was made bigger, it was made more uniform. So while there are small sections of the dome that look to still be natural stone, you'll see a flattening where maybe there might have been a stalactite. You'll see like a long stretch that looks like it might have been some sort of a ripple in the ceiling that was sheared, that was almost chiseled off to make a dome. It's not necessarily stonework, but it definitely was worked from some sort of possibly a natural cavern.
Okay.
Can I go ahead and like go through the clothes?
It's not clothes. That was part of what I was trying to get across in my description. You get a general sense. You've been in enough cities, you've been in enough like small settlements, you've made your own camps per se. And you can see illusions of what would have been.
Okay.
These are whatever was still left here from the the people who did actually live here at some point, you can see what might have been a bedroll with what might have been a fire, with what might have been the post of a small tent or a lean-to, but there's no actual material there. It's just a dust. Like, you can walk over and run your hand across and you can see it smear that there was a discoloration there of something, but it's not actual things, just so decayed into dust.
On this old road. You have a good spell for that.
Fun.
Your divination.
I don't think it's really necessary here. I always say we continue on. Looks like there's nothing really too important here.
Rest of the party?
Yeah, I think we should move on.
I'm okay with
Head back out?
it. Is there any way to continue further in?
When walking around the chamber, you do not see an exit of any type.
This was the only way that we could see that was in, correct?
Correct.
Looking around, I don't see, as we're skirting around, I don't see anything in particular.
Go ahead and make a perception check. At disadvantage.
At disadvantage.
I'll help you.
Even if I help?
You're gonna help me?
I'm gonna help you.
Perception on something like this isn't necessarily something that can be helped, per se.
Mm-hmm.
You can make your own perception check if you would like. But
I'll do that.
it's more of a, he can't be sitting there like, you know, did you see that? Do you think that's something? It's a little bit less understandable in that way.
Right,
Fair
I
enough.
completely understand. But guidance on myself, though.
Okay.
And I'm still rolling
Okay.
a
I'll make a
disadvantage?
perception
Yes.
check as well at disadvantage.
You cannot.
Oh, right. Yep.
You are blind, sir.
Fair enough. I forgot about that.
I am
23.
14.
23. You get a general look at the whole entire place, but it's all nothing but shades of gray and darker gray and more gray, and there's just really not much that you can tell.
It's way too dark in here. I want to go ahead and cast light.
Before he does that, can I look around with my special sight and see if there's anything along the walls?
Okay. There's something. Maybe there's magic, but it's old. It's less of a something you can see, and just more of something that you think just it has to be there because you can feel it, but it's not necessarily something you can see. It's old.
Could I perform an Arcana check to see, like, if I can determine the intent of the source that it came from?
You can, using your detect magic vision, you can see that whatever strands of magic were here, they're almost indistinguishable from the rock itself. The magic has been dispersed over the decades, possibly centuries, that since the last time anybody was here, that there's no school of magic attached to this. There's no real sense of purpose or anything of that type.
That's right.
It's just
Can you toss this out, please?
It's
there.
fragments.
Yeah.
Okay.
More of a vague